start off by introducing myself. My name is Riley Veith. I'm one of the regional sales directors here at Pinnacle Financial. Today we're going to be going over mainly the Medicare Part B eligibility. We'll go ahead and get started here. The first thing I want to show here is I want to go to and just talk a little bit about Pinnacle in case there's anyone on the call that has not worked with us before or anyone that has any questions. So Pinnacle, we are a national FMO, NMO, IMO, all that. We don't want to hide from anyone. We want to, we are very proud of, ourselves as a company, and we have everyone here. So all of our contact information is here. If you need to reach anyone on the team, here's our sales team, execs, everything like that. Here's our extensions, our emails, our pictures. There's me again. So there's my information if you need it. I'll also have it on the screen at the end. I want to point out some important things here. One of the cool features that we have here is depending on the state you are calling in for, you can actually go ahead and highlight over the state that you're looking for, and it'll give you the list of the sales directors that you can work with in that area. If you want to call the general health sales line, life and annuities line, this will put you in the queue to any one of us. I'm going to go to the Pinnacle homepage and show you guys the some of the stuff on the Medicare toolkit, and some of the most important stuff that we have is on our homepage. So I want to start off by showing that. If you click here at any point you're in our website here, if you click in the top right here on the logo, or sorry, top left rather, it'll bring you to here. This is where we're going to have most of our top tier information that we have on our website. I'm going to highlight a couple things before we get into the Medicare A and B eligibility talk. So one of the most useful things here is the Medicare toolkit. So you can click right here. We're going to go straight to the toolkit. Here there's tons of information. This guide here, right here, will drop you all the way down on the page because it's a relatively big page. Here, one of the really cool things that I like is that, so these are 2024 certifications. You can come here and for every carrier, so like Aetna here, you can click on Aetna. It'll tell you when the certifications launch, how they actually lay out. So you need a 90% score or higher for Aetna. An actual link to get right there, which is huge because even when I've certified before, it can be a total pain in the butt to get there yourself. So that is super useful. Anyways, there's tons of information on all of them here. So, and we have, again, all these carriers, if you have any questions, even the 2023 ones. Again, here you're also going to find our scope of appointment if you need that, AHIP discount, carrier info, and then our CMS recording and marketing rules. This is really important here, so we'll go ahead and take a quick look at that. All right, so here is some of the new updates and everything that we have for the CMS guidelines. You can see here that we've highlighted everything that is new for 2024. Whoops. Here, a required disclaimer that is effective or was effective October 1st, 2023. And then here, this is really cool. This is one of my favorite parts about this web page here is that here we have almost every single carrier's take on the new rules, because a lot of them interpret them a little different. It's each carrier's take here on what they think of the final rule and how brokers and everyone is supposed to interpret them anyways. So I will go back here and we can go back to another couple important spots here. So this is where we were just at, the CMS final rule, TPMO marketing. This is another way you can get there. The website is super user friendly, so that's nice. If you ever get lost again, you can just click up here in the Pinnacle logo. I'm going to go to the 2025 final rule. This is a pretty awesome page here as well. So these are going to talk about the 2025 proposed rules from CMS. Obviously, there's been a lot of buzz about it. Here's an actual webinar that we just did recently on it. You can go through the whole deal here, and there's more than enough information, FAQs, tons and tons of information that you can find on this stuff here. Let me check here. It looks like that's mostly what I'm going to want to cover here on the website. If anyone, again, if you have any specific questions on anything else on the website, you can definitely throw something in the chat and I can get to it towards the end, or I can take it offline and walk you through the website as well. But other than that, that should be pretty much it. I want to check one more thing actually before we go here, as it relates to our, let's see, Medicare Toolkit. So another cool thing here that I forgot to mention is that we're going to have all of our health assessments, or where you could find them, how much they pay, which is a nice little answer key here for if you're not used to selling a certain carrier that you sell, you want to make sure you get that extra money from the HRA. And then here's going to be all the updated FEMA information for each state that they're available in. So if you're struggling to find an SEP for a client, it's always a good spot to check. But I'm going to go ahead and get started on the PowerPoint here. Mainly what we want to talk about here today is the Medicare Part B eligibility. And again, my name is Riley Veith. To get started here, this is kind of our agenda. I already took you guys a little bit into the About Pinnacle section and the Medicare Toolkit. We're going to go talk about Medicare Part A versus Part B, and then Part B eligibility and enrollment. And then if there's time, I may be able to show you guys the late enrollment calendar. A lot of the stuff when it comes to eligibility and what Medicare Part A and B is all about is really tied together. So in order to talk about the Part B eligibility, you kind of got to talk about the Part A eligibility, which we're going to get into here. So for Medicare Part A versus Part B, this is just some basic information that I have on the screen. Part A is going to be hospital insurance. So anything that you're doing inside of a hospital facility is going to be covered under Part A. Part B is going to be your Medicare insurance. It is going to cover anything outpatient doctor's visits, and it's going to have that typical, unless you have a Advantage plan, supplement, or anything else like that, it's going to cover 80% with the member responsible for 20% coinsurance. So both Part A and B are going to be available to generally the same group of people. It's going to be those who are 65 or older, those who are disabled, or those who have end-stage renal disease. Most of the information we're going to be covering is going to be just that general and majority group of who's getting Medicare because they are aging into it. And again, if you have specific clients that you want to talk to me about that are disabled or have ESRD and how to handle those situations, I'm going to have, again, my contact information at the end, and I'm happy to schedule a call with you and go over something like that. But to go down Medicare Part A here, to receive the premium-free Part A, the worker is going to have a specified number of quarters of coverage, and individuals who not have worked enough covered quarters will pay a Part A premium. So generally, the for your age-in type of person that's turning 65, they're going to have to work 40 quarters to be eligible for the premium-free Part A. So that's roughly 10 years. And so for most people, that's usually shouldn't be a problem. If you're aging in at 65 and you've been working your whole life, you shouldn't have any issue there. And another part of it is that you're going to have to be eligible for Social Security. So your quarters are going to get you to be eligible for that Social Security. And then you obviously got to be 65 or older. For Part B here, it's again available to those same group of people, 65 or older, end-stage renal disease and disability. For disability, again, I'll just mention it. You do have to be on disability for 24 months or 2 years before you are going to be eligible for Medicare. ESRD is a whole nother complicated deal that, again, we won't get into today. But Part B is going to be a voluntary program that requires the payment of a monthly premium for all parts of coverage. The only people that are not going to have to pay for it are people generally that have it subsidized by the state or Medicaid, depending on, called different things depending on what state you're in. And those individuals who are eligible for a premium-free Part A are also going to be eligible to enroll in Part B once they are also entitled to Part A. So you're automatically, if you're premium-free, you're pretty much automatically going to get enrolled into Part B without having to do anything. And in most cases, if someone does not enroll in Part B when they're first eligible, they will have to pay a late enrollment penalty for as long as they have Part B. I'm going to talk about in a little bit some of the common, situations where someone would not enroll in Part B right away. So this is Medicare Part B eligibility here for someone who must pay a premium for Part A. So again, this is going to be someone who did not work enough quarters over the course of their working career. Basically, they didn't pay in enough to Medicare tax to be eligible to get it for free. So in that case, if they have Part A and they pay for it, this is how they would qualify for Part B. They must be age 65 or older, be a U.S. resident, and be either a U.S. citizen or be an alien who has been unlawfully admitted for permanent residence and has been residing in the United States for 5 continuous years prior to the month of filing an application for Medicare. So pretty complicated on the last part, but we don't see that again very often. That's not super common. So a little bit about the enrollment portion when you have a premium free. So if you worked enough quarters, this is what we're talking about. Mentioned it a little bit, but individuals already receiving Social Security or the Railment Retirement Board's benefits for at least 4 months before being eligible for Medicare and residing in the United States are going to be automatically enrolled in both premium-free Part A and Part B. Stated again, if you get that, if you're getting Social Security 4 months before your 65th birthday, you're going to be automatically enrolled without having to do anything. The people who are automatically enrolled also have a choice whether or not they would want to keep or refuse Part B coverage. Generally, the most common reason anyone is going to not pick up Part B right away is if they're still working and they're having some sort of employer insurance coverage, because obviously Part B is expensive. I believe this year it's $174 and some change. So if you're still working and you get Part A for free and your, whatever company you are working for has a lower premium for their health insurance plan, there's no reason to pay $174 a month plus whatever you're going to pay for an Advantage plan or a supplement and Part D plan. So for Part B enrollment information for those who have to pay the premium for Part A, again, not working enough quarters. So individuals who want premium Part A, meaning they're voluntarily paying for Part A and Part B or both, may only enroll during certain enrollment periods that are outlined in the law. And the following enrollment periods here are going to be for both premium Part A and Part B. So the initial enrollment period for this works just like the initial enrollment period for a Medicare Advantage plan. It's going to be a 7-month window surrounding your birthday. So you're going to have 3 months prior to the month you turn 65 in, the month you turn 65 in, and then 3 months after to do this. The general enrollment period is going to be January 1st through March 31st, which is basically OEP. And then special enrollment periods, these are actually surprisingly pretty different from your special enrollment periods that apply to a Medicare Advantage. One overlap is going to be like a FEMA situation, but there's a whole list of this that I can send out if anyone has any questions on these. But if you look it up on Medicare.gov, it'll give you a whole list. Generally, 90% of the time, you're going to be using IEP or the general enrollment period for this scenario. That is pretty much all I have. Kept her pretty short today. It is not a ton of information here. Thank you everyone for coming today. On the slide here is my information. I'll leave it up for a couple minutes here while I answer questions. In case anyone wants to take a picture of it, write it down. And again, feel free to reach out to me at any time if you have any extra questions. But I'm going to go ahead and answer any questions at this time here. Let's see here. So Bill asked, if an individual has credible coverage, do they need to enroll in Part B based on aging in? So if they have credible coverage through work, basically they're working late, they will automatically be able to roll in without any penalty. Yeah, you're good if you have credible coverage. Does COBRA coverage allow the applicant to defer Part B without any penalty? Yes, it is. COBRA is going to be considered credible coverage. So if you need to take that extra couple months after you lose your job, we're on COBRA, you'll be just fine there. COBRA is not going to count as an SEP, but loss of employer group coverage, which is basically going to happen automatically when COBRA happens, is. So that's technically the name of what your SEP would be. Someone is turning 65 and they're still working. Should they do nothing or enroll in Part A? So if they are still working and they are turning 65, if they have enough quarters of working coverage, if they have that 40 quarters, they're automatically going to be enrolled in Part A. And then they're probably going to want to, if they're going to keep working, they're probably going to want to defer on Part B. Part A doesn't cost them anything. It shouldn't interfere at all with their group coverage that they have. So they don't need to really do anything. They'll automatically be enrolled in Part A. They just need to defer on Part B. If you're covered under a spouse's coverage, if you have a policy together, the spouse is covered in the same scenario. Both of them are going to fall in the same bucket there. So you're good there. Let's see here. How much time do they have after they leave work and did not take Part B at 65? Generally, it's going to be about a 3-month window, Roy, for that one. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. Again, there's my contact information. I hope everyone has a great weekend and feel free to reach out at any time if you have any questions.